Auge versus FoRgorot97. Fight! Alright, guys, it's the 31st of August, the final day of the March 2019 format, and I won't say celebrate it, but in memory of the format, I'm going to be using one of the most broken decks ever. The deck that won the World Championship. Dragon Rulers. Well, it's not that specific deck. I've had this deck for a couple months. So, it is my own creation, but it'll have mostly the same decks as any other good Dragon Ruler deck out there. So yeah, Dragon Rulers. I did not use Dragon Rulers before. Technically, tournament winner won. Danny used Dragon Rulers, but that was a different variant with a few different techs here and there. So I decided to use my own variant before the babies are all forbidden. So yeah, and I noticed that after not having used the deck for like 1.5 months, because I've been using other decks for like deck requests, and just because I didn't feel like using these all the time, I have become quite rusty. Here and there I forget card effects that I could activate, that I have to activate, especially in a couple of, like, I did 3 duels I believe, or 4 before this one, and I forgot to do a Maxi, and like I had the option of using Maxi in like 2 occasions and I didn't use it. I could have easily Veilered his monster, like he summoned Summoner Monk and I Veilered upon the summon, no Aoki Veiler upon discarding the freaking spell. Then like there's a good amount of things that have shown me that I've definitely become somewhat rusty with this deck, but I still know how to operate it. So I'm facing Dino-Rabbits and let's see how I do. Get Super Rejuvenation in my first hand, which is very nice. I did not actually get that in any of my previous duels. Would have liked it because I was able to discard for 3 babies actually earlier, due to some nice card effects that I got. Now, the opponent has compulsory evacuation device. Doesn't like my dragons being there, but yeah. On Dracosaki, not either. But yeah, I drew into Blaster and 2 burners. So I'm like, yeah, that Lagia is somewhat in the way. He'll stop my XC summon. So Blaster, discard with burner to destroy Lagia. Oh yeah, Lagia gone. Now we can just set up for direct attacks. Now I'm thinking, okay, how do I direct attack properly? If I summon a monster via a baby, they can't attack that turn. So I'm going to use Burner and Redox to summon Blaster. That Blaster can't attack, so I might as well Xyz with it into something. And seeing as I still have the 2 tokens, I'll Xyz into Dragossack. There's nothing to steal anyway with Big Eye. So I do that, summon Blaster. Then I have enough big Dragon Rulers in my graveyard to summon the big one again. And then I'll use one of the big ones to Xyz with Blaster into Dragossack, and the other one to just attack. Of course, the stronger of the 2 I'll keep to attack. Now, Blaster is, attack power-wise, the strongest Dragon Ruler out there. However, I've just used its effect to destroy Lagia. So I'm using Tempest's effect, banishing Redox and Tidal to get a Reacton and a Stream to my hand. To then keep the rest of my Dragon Rulers in the graveyard for a while to use Stream's effect and summon Tidal, and Xyz with Tidal into Blaster. Now I could have used Tidal's effect earlier and then banish Tempest, get Lightning, summon Tempest, and Xyz with Tempest for 200 more damage. However, I do believe, although I'm not certain, that at the time I was like, because you have, with this deck, you have to keep really good count of how many Dragon Rulers are where, and how many Dragon Rulers are left in the deck, and I definitely did that. And I do believe that I had more Tidal/Streams left in my deck. Yeah, because I already had the 2 Tempests, one in the grave now and one on the field. If I would have gotten Lightning, I would have already gotten the 3rd out, and then still have 2 Tidals left in my deck, and I wanted to keep it somewhat even to keep my options a bit more open for later on. So I'm able to get the direct attacks, and the opponent has a defense position monster here. I'm like, that's, if I can get rid of that, I probably won the game, so Dracossack's effect tribute a token to take it out. Unfortunately, the opponent won't let me place effect failure. Dong. So now I'm here with a couple of options. I can Gold Shark, but the thing is, I have one of each big Dragon Ruler left, but only one Redox and one Lightning. I mean, one Reactant and one Lightning remaining. So I don't want to add a big dragon. I didn't want that. So I'm like, okay, banish Redox, get Reactant, and then because I can then normal summon Reactant, because attack power wise, Reactant is the strongest of the baby dragons. So I'm like, okay, I summon Reactant, normal summon, and then use the effects of Dragon Loose from the graveyard, or well, Tempest that I still have in my hand, to summon 2 monsters to the field to either attack with 3 monsters, or I attack, or I exceed the 2 big Dragon Lords into 1. And I thought, okay, I could go Dragossack and destroy it, but then I still only have Reactant to attack, and that's not enough damage. I could go into Big Eye, steal his monster, because I can also steal a face down. Then I can flip summon it, hope that it has enough attack points to together with Reactant defeat him, which could be if it's like Sabersaurus or a Thunder King Rai-Oh, those would work. But then I thought I could also just use the Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. I barely ever used it. I've only used it once before, actually. But then I decided to actually use it here and hope for at least 1200 damage, meaning his defense can only be 1400 or lower, of which there was a good chance, I'd say. Most of the cards in Dino-Rabbit do have lower than 1400 defense. Unfortunately, it's Snowman Eater, so that's 700 damage instead of the 1200 that I needed. And with Dragossack's effect still being negated by effect failure, he destroys Dragossack. Now I am able to direct attack with Reactant for 1800 more damage, leaving him with 1200. But Dragossack is gone, so in that sense he has a bit more options next turn, because otherwise next turn Dragossack's effect would be back, and if he'd get something like Dark Hole, if he top deck that, he now would be able to destroy everything. With Dragossack that wouldn't be the case. Now he banishes effect failure. I do not know why. I was like, does he have chaos? But then I'm like, I've never actually seen any dark monster in this deck yet. And then I do believe he misclicks or misplays here. I don't know what. I just allowed it because, you know, unrated. A summoned Thunder King decides to attack into Reactant, and his face down, I was kind of afraid of that, was like the only thing that could still stop me. And it was the same card that he used in the start of the duel to get rid of one of my Xyzes, Compulsory Evacuation Device. But I'm like, okay, yeah, if Thunder King is the only one left, I just need to do 500 damage. I can't banish the token for Red Eyes, but I was thinking of my trap, but then I still have enough big Dragon Rulers in my graveyard, so I just used 2 of their effects, summon them, attack. An attack with just one of them would be enough, because there's nothing really he can do to still stop me. He was probably hoping that I'd Xyz into something so he could stop the Xyz, but sorry, I was awake enough to see through that plan. So I summon Tidal, attack with Tidal, and I win the game. Thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow we will go into the September 1st, 2013 format with a lot of changes and a difference in the TCG and OCG Forbidden and Limited list. Now DN will be down for a good amount of hours to update to the new Forbidden and Limited list, and you should know that since there's a different ban list for the first time since DN's creation, a solution will have to be found, but I can assure you it has been found, that there needs to be a difference in the deck builder whether you work with the OCG Forbidden and Limited list or the TCG Forbidden and Limited list, because they're different. Because in the TCG you can throw in 3 Black Whirlwinds and you can just use 2 in the OCG. So there needs to be a difference, like an option that chooses which ban list you use in the deck builder to actually go with that. So that also has to be implemented, so please be patient tomorrow. It is likely that you won't be able to play too much on DN on September 1st. I'll try to actually get my duel video up, but likely it'll be a duel vlog because there won't be much time to be there to make a duel video on DN because of all the updates, the new Forbidden and Limited list, both of them, and the option to choose between them in the deck builder, And once actually everyone is able to go back on DN, everyone has to redo their decks and resave their decks. So usually in the first couple hours the DN is back, everyone gets disconnected because there's so many people saving their decks at the same time. So just so you know that, so you won't be like, DN isn't working. That's normal. That's happened a good amount of times before, so don't worry. Be calm. I'll see you guys later.